Okay, my name is Heather Salmon Canes, and I go by Heather Salmon on Facebook. Um, and I own Carlo Cakery in Florenceville, New Brunswick, Canada. So I live in the middle of nowhere, and somehow Debbie and I crossed paths, and it's been the rest is history, basically. I've had lots of success in the last year, well, 2 years. I've been in lots of magazines, and I've been on a couple of Food Network shows. That was amazing. I'd hope to get on another one sometime soon. That would be awesome. And I received Rising Star Canada Award at the American Cake Awards just this year. And Debbie also got Retailer of the Year at the American Cake Awards. So that was pretty cool that we both got awards at the same time. It was pretty neat. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Creative Fabrica. It is basically, it's addictive. And that's all I can say. It's addictive. It's, if you like Pinterest, you're going to love Creative Fabrica. In my opinion, like you could, what I started out doing when I got my big blue is I started going on Etsy and buying some files from Etsy. And then I found Creative Fabrica and realized, wait a minute, a lot of these files are from Creative Fabrica that I'm buying off Etsy. So then I was like, what? I could probably get a subscription that was cheaper for a year than buying all of these pieces, piecemealing it basically from different people off Etsy. So then I delved into it a little further and found out that indeed it was a pretty decent price. So I bought into it, and it's amazing. It's just amazing. Can you still hear me? Everything went quiet.
Yes.
Okay.
I just muted my mic because.
Oh, okay, good enough. So basically, when you go on to Creative Fabrica, if you just search it and you go on to Creative Fabrica, you can get a 10-day trial, I think, for free. And it gives you so many downloads, free downloads, but it only gives you a certain amount that you can actually use. There's a few fonts, there's some graphics, that kind of thing. Just enough to basically get a taste for it. But the code that you're going to get, or the QR code, I guess, that Debbie's putting up, when you click on that, that'll take you into my affiliate link, and you can actually buy into it from there. And it's $47 for a year subscription. It gives you the option to buy into another year for $47. That's American price. That's not Canadian. Canadian, it was more than that because our dollar is different. But it's worth every penny. And the other really cool thing about it is the more that I keep digging through Creative Fabrica, I found a studio, which is very similar to Canva. So I can actually build my designs right within the Creative Fabrica umbrella without having to take it out anywhere else. I can just put it right in there and work with it. So that's what I'm going to show you today.
Mm-hmm. All right. I have a question. Didn't you say something to me about a lifetime subscription?
A lifetime subscription? No, it does it yearly, and then it gives you the option to buy in for another year at that same rate.
Gotcha.
So that's what you do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish it was lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one you're thinking of is Procreate that Susan was using, the program to draw with last year or last week. That one I think is a lifetime subscription.
But wait a second.
I could be wrong, but
I think I know what I'm thinking. I think I know what I'm thinking. I think when I'm, wait. You use it 47 a month. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking. I saw something and I'm like, wow, what a savings. So, okay.
It's still a big savings though, because you could go in, you don't have to have a subscription to buy off of there. But when you buy like 40 things, you've already spent $47. Yeah. I have a plethora of different things saved on here. It's crazy how many designs I have saved. And then, like I said, I can do what I want with it. Now, the other cool thing about it is there's some rules that you have to live by on Creative Fabrica. One is, and this is the major thing, you can sell designs off of Creative Fabrica that you actually can get money from. You can sell on Creative Fabrica, but you can sell on Etsy or whatever else. The trick about it is that you have to change the design in some way. So you can't just pull a design that's already in there and plunk it on Etsy and sell it. You have to change it to make it your own, and then you can sell it. So if anyone is really good with graphic design, which is what I'm going to show you, is you can build another design based on several designs, and then you can sell that. So you can make money off of it easily. I mean, regardless of using it for the Big Blue or for your edible printers, you know, you can use it for so much and still make money off it without actually printing on anything. You can do digital files and make money that way. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I think we can probably switch to my other camera, Lori. And I need to drink the coffee because I'm really dry. Coffee! Coffee is life.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Okay, so are you on my screen? Don't, you're just on me. Is my screen still sharing?
She's working on it. Give her a second.
Okay. All right. Hang on, guys.
Lori, let's see the screen. Heather's screen share. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Got it?
Boom. There you go.
I still see me. Do you see my computer? Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
it takes a minute to catch up. But yes,
okay, perfect. Okay, so when you open up Creative Fabrica, it'll give you a place where you can do search words. So I'm just going to search, let's see. We'll go creepy. Whoops. Oh, it would help if I knew how to spell. Or if I had glasses on. Halloween. And then hit enter. And it's going to bring up a whole bunch. So you see 18, there's 18,000, well, over 18,000, 18,278 results found. So you can just scroll right through here. Now, if I see something that I like, let's see. This one's kind of fun. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to open it up. And I can decide whether I like it or not. Now, there's a lot of files on here that are AI generated. So you have to be kind of careful because like this cat, for instance, could have 6 legs. So you have to be careful of that. You have to watch for it. But I can look at all the different designs that are within this file. And if I like it, I might just stick it into this little spot right here where it says add to favorites. So I'm just going to click it and add it to my favorites. But if I really wanted it, I can download it right now. I can just click download and it's going to go right into my downloads, the whole file. So since I've clicked favorites, I'm going to come up here where it says favorites. I'm going to click on this, and this is where you get to see all of the crazy of what I have saved. So I'm going to click on that. And in here is everything that I have favorited, all the different files. So as you can see, I love Halloween, and there's all kinds of files in here. So this is the one that I had printed and sent Deb a picture of, that I was cutting out the moon and that kind of thing. I was going to use that tonight, but I broke it. So we're doing a different one. Anyway, so you can save all of this in here, and you can also come over here and you can make lists. So that's where you can put all of these into a list. So if I wanted to, I can click on this little unicorn and see where it says list. I can click here and I can come down. I believe I have a unicorn one. You just scroll down. There's unicorn, and I can pop it into the unicorn list. So now all I have to do when I want to find that, I go down in my list and click on unicorn, and it should be there. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Ta-da. It's in there. Okay, so now that I have my favorites, I'm trying to think where did I put that. I'm going to go back.
Hey, Heather.
Yes?
Marsha White says, hi, Heather.
Hi, Marsha. Thanks for dropping in.
Marsha.
Okay, so this one I opened this one up because this is one that I used for what I'm going to show you tonight. It has digital paper. So like I said, there's fonts, there's digital paper, there's graphics, there are stickers, There's stickers with outlines. So if you have Cookie CAD, it makes it really easy to make a cookie cutter out of the stickers. What else is on here that's really cool? There's just, honestly, there's just so much on here. It's insane. So what I did is I picked this one because I liked, where is it? I don't know where it is. Anyway, I'll show you in a minute. But I clicked it and then I hit download. So I'm going to go, is this still going to show you my downloads? If I click that, will it show the downloads still on my screen? I can't hear you, Deb.
Sorry, I keep muting my mic.
Oh. If I click my downloads, is it going to show you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oops. Okay. So I've got my downloads in here, and right under here it says vintage creepy Halloween digital paper. So I'm going to click that, double click it, and then it gives me a list of all the different ones. Now, for some reason, my computer will not open them up as thumbnails so you can see them immediately, but I'm just going to show you how I edit this to take it over into my Blueprinter files. So I just click the edit button. And on paper, you don't actually have to do this because it already has it sized. But if I wanted to, I can squeeze this in a little further.
Is that what you're seeing, or is it me, just me? I've seen them be frozen. Yeah, it's not showing up.
It's not showing up?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, maybe it won't show in my downloads then.
Is it in a different screen than the one that says Creative Fabrica?
Yes.
All right, you have to click on that, choose to see that, view that screen, because you're...
Well, maybe it won't do it. It's okay.
Okay.
So I'll just go back to Creative Fabrica. When you download this, it's going to go into your download files. You open up your download files and you double click on that download. So this one is Vintage Creepy. And then you can go through a whole list. So it's going to show you all of these different papers that are in there. And you can pick whichever paper you want as your background. And then you just edit it and save it as, I saved it as a PNG. And the reason for that is I didn't want to lose any resolution on it when I go in to play with it in the Creative Fabrica studio. So I'm just going to come back to Creative Fabrica, the main page. And up here, it says studio. So you click on that and it's going to take you into this, which kind of looks like, it's very similar to Canva. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up, oops, that's not what I wanted. Get out of there. There's a whole bunch of things that you could do in here. So where is that? It's left me. Okay, I'm just going to, we're going to take this out so I can just start over so I can show you. It'll be easier for me just to do this. Okay, so I'm starting with a blank screen in the Creative Fabrica Studio. And I'm going to go to upload. So I'm just going to scroll down and find my uploads right here. And so when you want to upload a new file, you just click this little tab and it'll take you into all of your saved images that are on your computer. And then you can just upload from there. And it does take a minute. It's not as quick as Canva, but it's not terrible either. I just like the fact that it's still under that same umbrella. So there's my background. So I'm going to click and drag this over onto my page. So there we go. And then I'm going to resize it. So I'm just pulling the corner nodes to make it a little bigger. And I like it to be centered. I really need glasses on right now, but anyway, that's pretty good right there. I think we're good. I'm going to pull it down just a smidge here. Okay, so I've got it pretty much centered. And over here, you can actually change the size. You can zoom out. You can zoom to fit. You can zoom in, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to do zoom to fit. Now, I also have a few other graphics that I've downloaded off of Creative Fabrica. And usually what I try to do is I try to find images that have a transparent background for when I'm building something like this as a graphic. I don't want to have to remove the background, but if you have to, it's not a big deal, because then you could take it into Paint, remove the background, or you can remove the background in Canva and still pull it in here if you want to. I think there must be somewhere to remove the background on this, but I haven't found it yet because I've just been playing with this for the last few weeks. And I just haven't stumbled upon it yet. So I'm going to pull this scene in. And as you can see over here, we've got layers that are started. So this one that's highlighted is the one that's highlighted right here. When I highlight this one, it's going to show you that it's this layer. Okay. So I want to resize this, make it a little bigger. So I just pull that node and then move it so it's centered. And you can see the crosshairs that are coming across. That's when it's centered. And then I'm just going to keep building on this. So I have some creepy Halloween houses. So I'm going to pull this one in. And that way I just double clicked. You can drag or double click, whichever you want to do.
I like that one. I like the way it gets into the background, you know.
Right. Oops, I'm going to delete that one. Somehow I ended up with two. It's because I double clicked. That's why. So now I'm just going to resize it and fit it onto this background. So I just keep playing with the size with those nodes and moving it around to see where I want it to sit. And I kind of like it right there. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in here and I've got a black cat. So I'm going to pull the black cat in. And as you can see, there's my layers. So if I wanted this black cat to go back a layer, I can just grab this over here, holding it and then dragging it down and letting go. And it goes in behind the house. But obviously we want the kitty in the front. So I'm going to pull it and pop it back in the front. So now I'm going to resize the kitty. Get it more in proportion. I want him in the foreground, so it looks like he's closer than the house. But I don't want to lose that detail of the house in behind him. So I'm just slowly pulling him in, and then I'm going to set him down there. Okay. Now we can go over, if you want to add text, you click the text button, and then I'm going to add a text field. So here's my text field, this text box. I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to type in Happy Halloween. Okay. So from here, now I can go in and I can change the transparency. So I can pull this down. We can pull it right down so you can't even see it anymore. Or you can bring it up so it's nice, strong font. I'm also can go up here and change the font. So I want it to be not necessarily creepy, but I'd like to have it a script, I think. Let's try this one. That one's pretty nice. So now I can change the color of that font right here. So where it says all fonts right across from it, there's a little color box. So click on that. And I want to mimic the orange that's in here in the windows. So I'm going to scroll down and you have your rainbow of colors that you can choose from. So I'm just going to pull this sideways. So I'm clicking and dragging to get into the more orangey colors so you can see how it's changing. I'm going to go back towards orange and red. We'll stop there maybe. And let's click right here. So I'm going to bring this up so it's a little bigger. We'll zoom in. Zoom in, please. There we go. Maybe a little more. Get it a little bit bigger so we can see it. Okay. So I think that's still too dark. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to pick, let's go with there. That's better. I like that a lot better. So you see how it kind of mimics the color of the windows. Now I'm going to go back over here. So we're going to click out of that. And it says border weight. So what the border weight is, and this this is something that I love about this particular graphics program is I don't have to go in and duplicate this. I don't have to go find anything so I can do a border around it. It's just allowing me to do that. So I can really drag this up and make it super thick, so it blacks the whole thing out. Or I can pull it back so that I can get it just so it separates it from my background a little bit and looks really nice. Then I can change the color of that if I want to. So I could go into red, or I can come back down here to my rainbow colors and go wherever I want in here. If I wanted it green around it or yellow, anything that makes it stand out. I particularly like the black with this one, so I'm going to stick with that. And you can change the size that you want. Now, one thing that I find with this particular tab is it jumps in size. It doesn't go up by just 1 or 5 increments. It jumps like 10, 15 in size, in point size. So I want it, if I want to change that manually and I want it to go to, let's say 70, then that's what I have to do. Now down here, you can change it to sit it on a circle. You can change it to an arc. Oops, where'd he go? Get back over here. You can go a lower arc. You can go an upper arc. You can do a rise, whatever you want for this to change how this is sitting on your page without having to go in and frig with it and break it apart and do all the crazy things you have to do in like Illustrator or any of those programs. You can just do it with this. It's pretty cool. I love this thing. So if I wanted it to be arced, I would do it that way. And then if you don't want any of those, you can just go back. Oops, I totally went out. Not what I meant to do. Dang it, what happened? I totally wiped it out. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Is there a back feature? Undo?
I hit back and didn't mean to.
Hit
I
forward.
meant hit undo.
Oh,
It's not a
no.
big deal. It's not a big deal. I can do it really fast. Don't worry.
Wait, did you switch screens? Like,
no.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, no, meaning tabs. Because I see
Tabs?
2 other tabs open at the top of your thingy.
No.
Okay, I've done that before. That's why.
No, I'm in the same tab. It's not a big deal. I'll just grab it, pull it in. You'll see how fast I can get this done. So I'm just going to make it bigger, and then we're going to grab this and pull it in. And whoops. If it's going to happen anytime, it's going to happen on a live. That's just how it is. Grab this and pull it in.
Sure. Just plan on it.
It's just the way it is.
But you can see how easy it is. Like she's just putting it all back together. She's not talking through it now, so she can,
No, and and that's how easy it is. Like it's just so easy. Now the amazing thing to me about this is once I have this graphic done, because I've pulled different graphics from different places within Creative Fabrica, or even if you've bought images, whatever, as long as you have the commercial license for your image, you can bring it in here and add Creative Fabrica images to it and then sell it. So once this is finished, I have a digital product that I can put on Etsy and sell immediately. It's done. That's just the beauty of this. Whoops. Stop it. I don't know why I'm having issues tonight, but I am. Come on. Where's my text? There we go. So I'm just going to add my text box back in. And I'm going to type Happy Halloween again. Oops, not F. Okay, and then I'm going to go and choose my font. Where was it? There it is. My font is done.
So I was saying in the comments how, like we had Procreate on recently with Susan Fianos, and we've had Canva on several times.
Yes.
And it's just so similar. Like I'm looking at this, knowing exactly what to do because I use these other
Right.
programs. I think
Exactly.
the difference is the amount of material it has. I think is, I mean, Canva has a ton of features. I love Canva. I'm a Canva girl all the way.
And
Uh,
I love Canva too. It's not that I don't love Canva. I love it too.
but this has different features that it offers, which is
Yes.
really cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So there. So I've got my design is pretty much done. I mean, I'm not centered, but that's okay. So then what do is I come up here to share and I click the share button and then I can download it. So you click download. You can either download it as a PNG or you can do a JPEG. It doesn't really matter at this point what you choose, because if you choose a JPEG, it's going to go right into your downloads and you can pull it right into your blue printer files, or you can use it on your edible printer, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to choose JPEG, and it takes a second. That's one thing that I've noticed with this one. Okay, there it goes. So now you can see that it's downloaded, and it's just lickety split, just like that. It's already in my downloads. Done. So there you have it. Ta-da! How cool is that? It's just so cool. So if you get a chance to go through and just look through Creative Fabrica and see what they have for, I'm just going to swap back to the Creative Fabrica page. But there's so much in here that's available for people to use for, well, like for instance, a tumbler wrap. It says tumbler wrap on it. You can use it for an edible print, no problem. It's in there as a flat piece of artwork. So it says it's for sublimation and a PNG. You can still swap that to a JPEG and use it. There's tons of stuff in here. There's even classes on here. You can teach classes on here. I came across somebody that was teaching a cookie class just the other day. So, I mean, there's so much available on here. It's a great platform to use and to sell off of, and there's money to be made. So even though you're spending a little bit of money for your subscription, it's so worth it. So worth it. So you want to switch back to me?
Time to see Heather. The side effect.
How much time do I have? I've only got 20 minutes.
You have
I talked too long.
minutes.
I talked too long. Okay. Do you want me to use the blue or just show them how to do?
You got to show the blue. What do you think, guys? Got to show the blue.
Got to show the blue. Okay. All right. Fine. Show the blue. Just hang on 1 second while I set myself up here.
That's why they call it the blues. Time on my hands. Could be time spent with you. That's so true.
Laughing like, is it children?
Yeah, but it should be like
lovers, rolling like thunder.
There's the QR code for the link, guys, if you want to grab that. What was I going to say? I guess that's why they call it the blue. That's our blue. Time on our hands, because the blue gives you time. Could be time spent with you. Laughing like children, living like lovers, and I guess that's why they call it the blue.
And it rolling like thunder. Don't forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
Under the covers. That's kind of weird lyrics. Laughing like children. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
And I guess that's why they call it the blues.
There they are.
Okay. So I'm getting my thing open here. All right. I have to turn you around. Hopefully this will work. Bear with me, okay, guys?
It's time to spin.
Bear with me. Whoops.
Ooh, the blue.
Can you see blue?
We can see blue. Can you back up it all lately a little bit or no?
Oh, yeah, I can.
I'd back it up so people can see more.
Just a second. I'm just going to try
and bring it up a little bit. The camera tilted up.
Oh, just a second.
You know, I think one day, depends on, maybe I'll do it to Stacy. Well, he's too, got his stuff together too much, where I'll just say, nope, a little to the left, a little to the right, and see how long I can make him do it.
Okay, is that okay?
Move it to the left. I think it actually is the left. For
The
real.
left?
Yeah.
This way?
Yeah, that left. Yeah, just a little bit more now. There
Okay.
you go.
We
Perfect.
good?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I have, sorry about how noisy it is. I have to drop it down a little bit.
The house doesn't seem to be noisy, and neither does the blue. You're all good, man.
Okay. I'm always worried that it's like really noisy.
Uh-oh.
I'm used to it, but I'm always worried that other people won't be used to it.
So, I was going to say, so now I see that you have something printed already.
I did. And the reason I did that was so it was a visual for people, because sometimes I don't print on paper at all. I just print right directly onto whatever I'm printing. But this is that graphic that we just designed. It's the exact same graphic. Now, if I can get this up here without making a mess. So I'm going to print on pie crust that's not cooked. So just line it up as best I can here.
So you can do this on cookies, on cakes, on fondant, and even
Right.
on pie crust.
On pie crust.
Pie crust.
And then you can just bake it. You don't have to worry about it. So this is parchment paper that I have my pie crust on. And that's to keep it so it's food safe. So if anyone has any concerns about whether it's food safe or not, this is all you have to do is just put it on parchment. Or sometimes I use on our icing sheets and our flex frost and all that, we have acetate sheets, and I save those. So if I'm using fondant, I roll my fondant out onto the acetate, and then I just lay my fondant right over this, or the acetate with the fondant on it. I just set it on top of it. So I can still see where my image is, and I know that it's staying safe away from anything that could make it not food safe, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to take this down here and there, just because this tends to lift up if I don't tape it down. So we're just going to make sure it doesn't get caught on the blue. And then one thing I notice with fondant and pie crust is sometimes it'll lift up a little bit, and I don't want my print head to hit. So I'm just making sure that the edges are all down where I need them to be. Now this is store-bought pie crust, and I know it sounds like a cheater. However, when I do pie toppers, I use store-bought. And the reason for that is when it bakes, it doesn't bubble up like homemade does, because homemade just sometimes you'll get these big boops all over it. And it doesn't work when you're doing an artistic pie. If you're just making an apple pie and you're putting pie crust on it, of course, use homemade. But when it comes to an artistic pie, this is my choice, is to go with this, because then I don't lose any of those details because of the air pockets that are within the crust, if that makes any sense. And I hope that helps people. So
I totally understood it, by the way. So
okay, good. Perfect. Because some people have looked at me and they've been like, what do you mean you use store-bought? Well, that's why. So now I'm just going to raise my bed up. And you have to bear with me because I am half blind, so it's hard for me to see where it's lined up. And what I do is I bring my head over the pie crust, and I'm looking at it from an angle in here so I can see how close I am. And then I'm going to put my bed back and just make sure that I have it close enough that I'm not going to hit anything. So I think I'm pretty good there. And sometimes, like when I'm doing cookies, because your cookies aren't always going to be the same thickness, and sometimes your icing even isn't the same thickness. So you kind of have to make sure that it's not going to hit. So what I do is I'll go back and forth for each line of cookies when I get them on here to make sure it's not going to hit anything, because that sucks when you lose a cookie. And it has happened to me before. So this is what I do to make sure it doesn't happen. So I just kind of roll this back and forth. And I'm going to bring it back just to make sure it's not hitting any of those high spots. And I think I'm going to drop it one little tiny bit right here. Actually, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to set this back in my home position because I can see that there's an edge that's lifting up. from where I'm sitting. So I'm just going to tape that down. It's hard for me to see it where I was sitting before. So this little edge is a problem area. So I'm going to get that down so it doesn't catch. If I can get my finger in there. We don't want that to catch because that could shoot the whole thing sideways if it catches. I think I'm going to bring my bed out to do this. So I can't get my finger in around it. But as far as it being up close enough to the print head, I think we're good. Just going to grab that. We're going to just stick it right down there. And the other thing is, like, we use blue printer tape or painter's tape, sorry. It doesn't stick well, as you can see, to the parchment paper. So you really have to make sure it's in there. I wonder what else I can stick in there. I'm going to bring it out a little further. As far as sticking to paper, it sticks fine, but parchment paper, not so much.
Yeah, we a lot of people, once they have the glue, they are able to come up with their own methods. There's things that I've done that were totally different.
Yeah, and see, I could have done this on a piece of acetate. I wouldn't have to tape it down at all.
Yeah,
you just lay it on there and go. That's the beauty of saving those acetate sheets. Don't ever throw those away.
Nope.
They are important. Okay, so we're ready to go. So I'm just gonna get this back in place, and then we're gonna start printing. Yay!
Hey, Donna wants to know if you played with the size at all, or just printed the way it was.
I made sure that the size was going to fit over, and I actually have a bleed over so that it goes from side to side and doesn't stop right on the edge. It actually bleeds over the edge a little bit. With cookies, sometimes I do that and sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I'm doing for artwork. But I always size. So I did size that in our program to make sure that it was going to be the right size.
Yeah, some people decide to print a little bit bigger so that they know that it goes past the edge.
Yeah.
That complete
right.
look to it.
And there it goes.
Woo-hoo!
She's working very well.
While she's doing that, does anybody have any questions about the blue?
Pardon me?
I'm asking if people have questions about the blue, not you.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
Yeah. No, you already know the answers, girlfriend.
I do. I know most of them, not all of it. Not all of it.
So next
I love this machine. Like,
why?
Love it.
Why?
Because it allows me to do this. Now, if I were to, I've painted pies. I make pie toppers all the time. I couldn't make this topper as fast as I did. This topper, if I was to make this by hand and paint all those details on, would take me no less than 10 hours to paint that. This, you saw how fast I put that together.
Okay,
it literally was just finding the images, pulling them into Creative Fabrica, into the studio, plunking them together, and then I'm off to the races. And I can size this up or down to put on cookies or on a cake if I wanted to, whatever I want to do. I can print it directly onto anything that's edible. You can use it with fondant. Fondant toppers have always been a really big thing with my cakes lately. People want specific things. So what I do is I print it on fondant and then I cut them out and I can use them as the topper, stick a popsicle, not a popsicle stick, a lollipop stick in the back of them, and stand them up on the cake, or I can have them sitting on the edge of the cake. Like there's so many things that this allows me to do that is such a time saver. It also can run and I can be doing other things. I'm always washing dishes, as everybody knows, so I can have this running and I can be doing my dishes. I seem to be obsessed with dishes, so, you know. But that's the beauty of having one of these machines.
Question for you. 2 questions. Okay. Kelly wants to know, since the image has a lot of black in it, did you cut back the saturation?
I actually did. I cut it back to, the black is back to 40%. and CMY is back to 70.
Mhm.
And
So,
I could have done it at 50%. It probably would have been a little better at 50% through the bake, but it actually didn't turn out too badly. And I'll show you the finished baked product in just a second. Um, so if you wanted it a little darker, you could when you're going to put it in the oven to bake it. On a cookie, I would probably keep this at 40%, just because you don't want to have all that black laying on top of the cookie. I find sometimes it just gets to be too much laying on top of the cookie, but that's my machine, and every machine seems to be a bit different. So it's whatever you feel, but generally speaking, I leave my saturation between 40 and 50%.
yeah, and that doesn't apply if you have a double printhead machine like the XL or the Mega. Then it works totally different.
Right. And see, and I don't have the double head. Mine's just the single. So yeah. And the other thing I find like that there has to be that understanding that the CMY has it makes like a faint black. It's not a true black. It makes a faint black. So when you add the true black in with it, I think that's why we have to drop our saturation down, because it's almost too much of the black. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, totally.
so that's why I pull it back a little bit.
Donna wants to know, when you bake it, does it make any changes?
It does a little bit. So as you can see, it's turning out kind of a gray. There's a tiny hint of brown in there in the background. Once I show you the baked one, you're going to see how it browns from the bake, but it loses a tiny bit of detail. However, you can go back in and highlight it with, like, let's say the Artisan Accents metallic paint, if you wanted to use that, or use black in different areas to make it pop. You could also go back in, and if you wanted to do a transfer or another piece that's the cat alone, then you could do that and actually sit it on top so it gives it more dimension. So that will help pull the details out. But
Now,
again, I think like I said, had I left it at 50% for the black, it probably would have been a better quality after it was baked.
okay,
But
now
I mean,
number two, you're printing you're not printing on white. And so
right.
when you don't print on white, you're not going to have that exact color match because everything's
That's right.
blending with the background color.
Right. And it becomes somewhat muted because it is like a cream color, like a light tan color, not white. And you're right about that for sure. But I mean, just the fact that I can print on a pie crust is like awesome. I'm so happy about it. You have no idea how happy I am about this. And pie is not a celebrated for art form, and it needs to be, because it's amazing.
Hi, awesome. So
So
Stacy
I
made a comment, which of course I don't get because of his humor. Sometimes it goes way over my head. Only Johnny Cash can handle black at 100% saturation.
only Johnny Cash. Well,
Yeah,
he always wore black. Maybe that's the reference.
I don't know, I
I
guess.
don't know.
Um, so, huh.
So yeah, this is real time, folks, right here. This is how long it takes to print, but it's still, to me, instant gratification, because you're watching it unfold on whatever it is you're printing on. And I've printed on cello sheets on this. I've printed on icing sheets. I've printed on wafer paper. Like any edible product that has a white surface, or as we've said, this one is kind of off white, you can still get a great print out of it. It's so cool.
All right, so he said one of his biggest songs is The Man in Black.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm not a huge Johnny Cash fan, so, but now I remember that. The only song I really know of Johnny Cash's is "I fell into a burning ring of fire. I
Yeah,
went down, 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 and the flames get
down,
higher."
down, down.
Okay.
I'm older than
Stop
Stacy and Kelly. Stacy said it shows their age. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, you're funny. Okay. So there we have. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Bring it backwards a little bit.
Bring it back again.
Bring
Okay.
it backwards a little bit. Stop so they can see right there.
Okay. What I'm going to do so you can see the difference before and after bake. I'm just going to pull this off.
AW, who are you in love with, Stacy or the pie crust or the blue or the singing? She just said, OMG, I'm in love. And I'm trying to figure out what she's in love with.
Can you actually see it?
Yeah, but move it backwards just a little bit.
Backwards? Okay.
Yeah, it's just cutting it off. That's all.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So there is, I'm just going to pull this off the pie I had it on. So there is before it's baked, and this is after it's baked.
Oh, wow. It looks better baked.
It kind of gives it that creepy cool look where all the crust is bubbled a little bit, like those tiny bubbles. Now, like I said, I could go back in and add details with whatever edible paint you want to use, but metallics would be really cool to accentuate the moon and pop it out, the cat, that kind of thing. It'd be really cool to do that. Or you could even like add chocolate skulls around because there's skulls here. So just wherever the skulls are placed on this, just to give it more interest.
What I like is where'd she go? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The black is saturated now. Where did she go? You want to go ahead and bring me up, Lori? Hi. We don't know where she went. She probably hit something. Oops. Yeah, I never expected that color to survive being baked like that. That's pretty awesome. I liked the way the spider web was around the outside of the crust. I thought that was really cool.
Are we there?
Oh, she's coming back, guys.
Sorry, guys. That was a phone call coming through. I have no idea.
Gotta love it.
Weird. Anyway, so there we go. So baked and not baked.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Oh, this pie crust smells really good too. Oh, yummy.
You just bake the top of it. That's it.
I might like chomp right into it.
So like, okay, so wait, so if you had it actually on a pie, would stuff bubble through? I don't know. I'm not a big pie baker. I bake them, but don't know enough about them.
Okay, I'm gonna turn you around here just a second.
Around,
okay, there I am. I actually don't bake my toppers on my pies. I do it separate. If it's an artistic pie, I do it separate. And the reason for that is that very reason. Unless you want it to be so creepy cool, like you've probably seen those face ones where they cut the eyes and they put a nose and they put a mouth, and then you want the pie to bubble through so it looks bloodied for Halloween. But I don't usually want it to bubble through. I want it to be nice and clean. So if I was going to do it where I had a cutout on my pie, like the moon, let's say I cut the moon out, I would actually have the pie itself a different color, like a moon color or whatever, so it would show through. But I'm going to always take my pie crust and sit it on top. I'm not going to bake it that way because you lose so much of your image by baking it that way.
So how do you stick it to the pie without it being two separate pieces?
I just do it like this. I just set it on top.
And when you cut it, it doesn't slide off?
If you add enough cream on there or whatever your pie filling is, it's not going to slide off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm having to like pull to get it because I have Bavarian cream under here.
Ooh, yummy.
So it's actually sticking to it right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That it is.
Pretty cool. So
and
do you have any time left? Or we
and
have
everything
time?
else?
We had a time?
It works with fruits and everything else?
With fruits? Yeah, because you can bake your pie ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, and actually a lot of times what I do is I bake my filling or I cook my filling first. Then I blind bake my pie crust that's in the pie pan. And then I put my filling in and set my artistic pie crust on top.
Gotcha. Artistic pie crust. I love the name.
And then you don't feel bad when people are cutting into it because it didn't take any time to do it off the blue. You don't have to like be crying in your coffee because, oh my gosh, I spent 10 hours doing that. And people are like, ooh, pretty, and chomping down, you know?
Ooh, pretty. You're awesome. Awesome. That was really, really cool. Yeah, Donna, you got to share with us what you create. Anybody tries it, please definitely tag
Please
us
do.
on there.
Please do. I would love to see people do pie art. Like, I'd love to see that.
So there's the QR code, guys, for Creative Fabrica. If you want to have some savings there, grab that QR code, and we'll post it again in the comments as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely, that's a great deal. Great, great, great deal.
So I hope you guys learned lots. I hope.
I think you fascinated everybody pretty darn well. That was awesome.
Awesome. Excellent.
Awesome.
There's the graphic arts coming out of me right there.
Yep.
So what I did was graphic design. And when I do things that are hand drawn, that kind of thing, that's more on the graphic arts side.
Gotcha.
But you can also pull all those hand drawn images into Creative Fabrica and do your own things too.
Gotcha.
Just like Susan did with Procreate.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. I like sharing these different programs that are out there. And I like, because what I really like is, like, I feel like I could jump right into Creative Fabrica and design.
You absolutely could. You absolutely could.
Yeah, and then sell what I make if I choose to. So
yes. Well, like I said, that image right there, I can turn around and put that on Etsy right now and sell it for $1 per image if I want to, or $3 per image, whatever I want to do. If I have an Etsy shop set up, you can sell it right on Creative Fabrica. They have a direct download spot that you can put things in there and sell as a creator. It's just awesome.
Okay, really. So you can sell it on Etsy, but you can also sell it on Creative Fabrica.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So you can make back your subscription.
You could do a Patreon account and have a Patreon account set up there where you just throw your links in and people could buy those links to your images. Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to use this to make money on the digital form.
Yeah.
Not just on edible form.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So
fall down that rabbit hole, people.
I know.
Come with me
I know.
on this journey.
I purposely had to turn it off because that's dangerous.
I know. I could spend hours in there. You just have to put those few keywords in and a plethora of things pop up. And I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I have thousands in my favorite files.
I'm sure you do. I am not surprised.
The other thing, I should mention this. If you're a cookier, let's say, and you're struggling to come up with an idea to use for the next season or the next holiday, Creative Fabrica is an amazing resource to find different things to give you inspiration to come up with different cookie ideas. It's even if you're not printing with it.
Yeah.
If you're just looking through those digital files and you can pull different aspects from different places and come up with your own really cool, unique designs just by looking at those designs. You can come up with paint your own cookies. There's all kinds of coloring pages in there that you can pull from and make paint your own cookies or paint your own whatever you want to do. If it's marshmallows, I've seen people do it on cake pucks and all those things. Yeah, it's just really cool. There's a lot of stuff.
Awesome. Great job. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.